I agree with you. I think we're going to see this get worse up till the election, and probably. I'm curious what you think about this. Do you think there's going to be a long time before we know who's president because of this voter fraud stuff? Or
I don't think so.
How do you think that's going to pan out?
I don't think so. I think we're probably, Lord willing, we're going to know November 3rd, the night of November 3rd. Look, the stuff that's coming out, the damning information that's coming out on Joe Biden.
Right, and do you? And I know with you we have to be careful because the audience, because right. Every time that you give an opinion, then they say
that's why I'm saying opinions here. That's not prophecy.
Right.
So this is where we're all have questions here. What we really don't know what's going to happen here. We know the end result, that Trump's going to be the president. That's prophecy. We know that. All right. So how do we get to that point? And here's the problem, Josh, is that everybody wants to know the details.
Yeah.
They want to know, okay, what's coming next? What's coming next? And guys, it's like time out. God doesn't give us all the details, because if he did, we have no need for faith.
That's right.
God told us where we're coming from. He shows us where we're going, but he's not going to give us each and every step of the way right here. This is where faith comes in, and this is where we come in as Christians to pray and warfare for the outcome of that prophecy that God has spoken. That's our job. Prayers when we are addressing God, warfare when we're addressing the enemy, and we have to be doing both right now.
Oh, amen. Yeah, absolutely. And I really hope that people take that to heart, and especially because there is a lot of false information going on from every angle of this whole thing, and it's hard to really know. And it's hard to know what's true and what's not. But that's why, I'm thankful for people like you that speak boldly, and you don't care if people shut you down, or you don't care if people lie about you. You're just going to tell people, what God has told you specifically, but also what you think about it. And
what is my opinion?
Yeah, exactly. And we just hope that the audience wouldn't conflate that, because you're and we've talked.
It happens. It doesn't matter what it still happens. You know what I mean?
Well, and I think those people, they already have their mind made up about you. There's nothing you could say. You could have 1,000 accurate prophecies, and then if you have one opinion on something that doesn't perfectly line up, they're going to say that you're a false prophet. And so I would challenge people who have that view. Like, look at what, like Mark has specifically said God has told him. And as far as I know, as far as I have seen, all of that stuff has been dead on. Now, and then look at the opinions. And then we can talk about opinions. We can speculate. Shoot, I say stuff all the time when I give opinions that don't turn out to be right, because I'm not prophesying at the time. Right. Just like when you're giving an opinion, you're not either. Right. So is there, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, but I mean, you're hitting on a good point there, because, we talk about opinions. Our opinions are the details.
Right.
That's what we're talking about. The details sometimes become opinions because we don't have the details. And so we're trying to, maybe converse with the audience. If they can look at it that way, we're trying to throw opinions out here. Hey, what do you think about this? Like I just said about Biden. Does he make it to the race? We really don't know. Does he get indicted? We don't know. So those are all things that, we're trying to put the pieces to the puzzle together, maybe for the details for some of the listeners.
Now, what was really interesting, too, is you talked about justices, and recently passed away, which I if I remember right, I think you specifically said that was going to happen at some point. And then now we have a lot of people said that she might not get sworn in, or something might happen with that. What do you see happen? Because so far it seems like I think she's going to be sworn in like any day now, isn't she? Or
they said the next 72 hours she will be sworn in. They said Monday, but then somebody came back and said the next 72 hours. So whenever that is. So look, here's the thing with the Supreme Court. God said that he's going to put 5 in there, and he's going to reform the court at that point. Now, when he reforms the court, which that also tells us that Trump's going to get a second term because he's only got 3.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? So, Barrett, I believe, will be sworn in. She's going to have to be, because just in case there's a flaw November 3rd and it goes to the Supreme Court, they're going to have to make a ruling on it, which I hope and pray that doesn't happen. That's my opinion. So, but at some point, when does God bring up Roe versus Wade? That's the question in play here. Again, right. The details. So we know that Roe versus Wade is going to come down. And when God says, when I reform the court, I will take on that great case called Roe versus Wade, and it will come down. So at what point does God say, okay, I've reformed the court? Because really we've only replaced 2 conservative judges. We replaced 2 judges with conservative judges, so we really haven't made any ground. RBG's the first one we're really making ground with here, and we knew that was going to be a tough one, which is Amy. Now, we all know John compromised. You might as well just count him out. So at what point does God say, okay, now I'm going to take that case on? Is it the next two judges? Could be. Now, here's the thing with prophecy we got to be careful of. God says he's going to give us 5, right? So he said 1 was going to die, 1 was going to retire, and 3 would be caught in a scandal, is what he told me. Now, the 3 that are caught in a scandal, we may never know. Here again with prophecy, you got to be careful. We may never know what that scandal is, Josh. Can you imagine catching 3 judges, Supreme Court judges, in a scandal and removing them all at once?
Wow.
You'd start a civil war in this country. So what would their exit strategy be? It may be Ginsburg, they may retire out, or they just may step down, whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? What is their exit strategy? See, we don't have the details. You know what I mean? We may never know until like 5 years later that, hey, these 3 that just left were actually caught in a scandal, and here it is. You know what I mean? So this is where we got to be careful with the prophecy. But we know we're going to get 5. Roe versus Wade will come down. It'll get kicked back to the states. And I believe at that point with the states is when God will say, okay, this is where the blessings or the curses will come in for those states. Whoever's going to allow abortion, whoever's going to get rid of it.
I want to get into some details that YouTube won't allow because YouTube is YouTube, but we can allow it at dailyrenegade.com. So for people who don't yet know about this, dailyrenegade.com, we have I hate the word safe space, but that's kind of what it is. We've created the safe space for us Christians to be able to go and talk about anything we want. You don't have to worry about censorship because we own it. And when I say we, I mean we, because you at home are helping. Those of you who are members, you're helping support it. We're all building this together. So, I put my own money into it as well. We all do that together, and we're building this place together. If you don't feel led, or if it's something that you don't want to be a part of, that's totally fine. I would never say anything like, well, that means that you're not really Christian or something ridiculous like that. Right. Not everybody's going to feel led to this thing. But if you do, then head on over to dailyrenegade.com, become a member, get a membership today. Just know that your membership doesn't only help Daily Renegade, but we also help support other ministries as well, and we have a list on the website that talk more about that. But go get a membership, and the reason that we created it is because we get videos deleted. If this one might even get deleted, just the little bit that we treaded today, it might get deleted. So the reason that we have Daily Renegade is so even if YouTube deletes it, the video is still preserved, because I've had 8 years of good, solid biblical teaching just gone because YouTube has decided that it's not worth keeping around on their servers. So we have our own space, dailyrenegade.com. If you want to get the rest of this episode where we're going to talk about things that YouTube will not allow us to talk about, head on over to dailyrenegade.com and get a membership now. So for people viewing for free, Mark, do you have any final words, any last comments for the people who are viewing for free on YouTube right now?
Yeah, I just want to encourage people right now, Josh, because things look dark. They're always going to look darkest before the dawn right now, okay? And we're coming into the crescendo of this fight, which is November 3rd. Now, we know November 4th, things are going to break loose in this country probably, because he may have to deploy the military. He may have to say enact the Insurrection Act or some martial law in some places. I tell people, get about 10 days, 14 days worth of food stored up just in case. This is not doom and gloom. We have to do this, guys. This is probably going to be the roundup that we've all been looking for. And Obama, Hillary, all going to go to jail. They're all going to prison, folks. So be encouraged. We just have to hang in there, and we got to get through this. This is the crescendo we're coming up to. So just stay in prayer, stay in warfare. The victory is ours.
Absolutely. And if the information stays current and you don't get deleted even more, where can people find you now if they want to?
Right now, they can find me on Twitter at Patton, like General Patton 6966. That's not the mark of the beast. That was my fire department ID number. Yeah, the Lord told me one day, he says, the 9 separates the 6s. I've called you to prophesy judgment, which is 9, against the system. That's why I gave you that number, he said. So the same thing on Parler at Patton 6966.